All right, welcome back. We are back with another episode of Marketplace Maps. And today I have half the team of. Kaj, what is your company's name? Ecom Unlimited, right?
Yeah, Ecom Unlimited is the podcast and the front-facing name of the company.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I did your podcast a couple weeks ago, and now you guys
Yes.
are coming on and doing mine. I don't have my other co-hosts with me today because a lot of them have regular jobs. So, and 9 to 5 jobs. So this is a perfect time for me to kind of hop on and talk about with you because you guys are really doing exactly what I'm doing. You guys are just ahead of me by several years. So, Kosh, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. It is December 9th, and products are ripping, man. It's really, starting tomorrow, the next couple days leading up to Christmas is peak season. Obviously, it's been peak season since Thanksgiving, but in terms of Christmas buying, we have one particular product that is a very giftable item that is just flying off the shelves right now. So it's a good time.
Yeah. I didn't think anything for me because 90% of my stuff is not really giftable stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Black Friday hit and that whole weekend, and it was like, oh, nope, sales still just go up because there's more eyes on Amazon.
Yep.
So, and then that definitely made me think like, oh, I think I need to start sourcing some giftable items for next year and start thinking ahead because the Q4 Christmas rush is, it's something to behold. And even, I think when I was on your podcast, you guys don't have a huge inventory of super heavy holiday type stuff, but
Yeah.
it still just gets busier.
Correct. Honestly, this is probably the first time we've had a product that is very giftable, which has its pluses in that right now it's ripping. But for me, I honestly prefer more stable cash flow, just because it's like, all right, now we have to place 4 months worth of inventory in October, September. And it's like, all right, where's that money coming from? So it has its pluses and minuses, but right now it's a plus.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Everything's a plus right now for at least the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So, yeah, I really brought you on here today to kind of get an idea. Some people do this alone, and many of guys kind of do this as a partnership. And your partner might be hopping on here at some point during this call. And if not, we're just going to kind of rip it with you.
Technical difficulties, unfortunately.
Yeah, that happens. But give me a little bit of a background of your company and how you and Josh have obviously known each other for a long time, how you guys got into the business.
Yeah, so I'll start with how me and Josh know each other. So we have known each other since middle school, since we were like 9 or 10. Right now I'm 29, he's 30, so we've known each other for like 2 decades, which is crazy. We were actually both homeschooled, and within the church that we went to, there was like a homeschool co-op. So it was we went to school together, but not really, if that makes sense. And then in high school, we came across a network marketing opportunity that we both did together. That was a lot of fun. And that kind of sparked our interest into like entrepreneurship and business. And then we did that, I guess, into college a little bit, stopped doing that freshman year. And then both of us just kind of had the itch. We were like, all right, like we know that there are other ways to make money now than just getting a traditional job. We've been exposed to young people who are making like serious money. And it's like, you can't unsee that. So one day, I believe it was junior year, Josh sent me a YouTube video. He emailed it to me. I think I still have a screenshot of it. And he was like, yo, I think we can do this. And it was a video of someone selling on Amazon, doing private label. And I watched the video and I was like, makes sense to me. I see absolutely no reason why we can't do this. Let's do it. So from there, we set up the LLC. We started doing product research. We found manufacturers on Alibaba. We did samples. We launched a listing, launched a product. First product ended up going okay. Oh shoot! I think Josh just hop on. Let's go.
Hey, I made it. Sorry,
we're here. We got everybody. All right, we got the full partnership now.
Well, yeah. So I was just in the middle, Josh, of kind of going over our story.
Gotcha.
Yep. So we launched the first private label product. Was a great learning experience. We didn't really make money, but we didn't lose a ton. Maybe lost like 100, $200. But in terms of like your first actual business venture of, placing the order, sourcing the product, launching the listing, phenomenal learning experience. Then we launched a second private label product, which did a lot better. Maybe sold 10,000-ish units of that. I can't remember exactly, but sold through quite a few units. And it was definitely profitable. And then COVID happened. Once COVID happened, well, I guess the good part of it was that last order that we had placed started selling really well, but then we weren't able to reorder because of how expensive shipping containers were. The cost of raw materials went up, so the product was just no longer profitable. So at that point, it was like, all right, we need to just find something else. I guess we thought about launching another private label product, but long story short, we ended up doing retail arbitrage for a little bit. Then we ended up doing online arbitrage, focused pretty much exclusively on online arbitrage for about 2 years. That would have been like 2021, 2022. 2023, we kind of were hybrid online arbitrage and wholesale through distribution. And then 2024, 2025 has been, the focus has been brand direct partnerships. So our journey is a little bit unique in that we kind of started backwards.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys, like, you did it completely backwards.
Yeah. Yes, we did. I would not recommend anyone follow that path. But at the same time, like, it's helped us out, especially with the brand partnership side of thing. Like having that private label background is extremely valuable, just because we had already learned how to make a listing, understanding the Amazon algorithm, running ads. But we're very happy with where we are right now in terms of brand direct partnerships. We're not planning on pivoting back to retail arbitrage or online arbitrage anytime soon. So yeah, we're really happy with our journey. It's been a little bit slower than other folks, but we're still here. We're still kicking. We're still selling. Still profitable.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever do a private label? Do you think you'll dip your toes back into that? Because you did have success.
Personally, I would not want to launch another private label brand. What I would want to do is either partially or fully acquire a brand that we're selling already. Because I mean, private label is really just owning a brand. Private label is like kind of a weird term that's within Amazon, but at the end of the day, it's just you own and sell a brand. So yeah, I would rather acquire than launch at this stage.
Okay. So I know you guys kind of do, you have your wholesale business. You also have your coaching business. So we'll kind of start with the wholesale business to your Amazon selling business, kind of a brief overrun of that, of it's you two, what are you guys doing right now for numbers, and how many employees are supporting you for these numbers? And this is a bit of a selfish question on my part because I am using this to kind of judge where I'm going and where I want to go, and also where I want to stop and not keep doing more. So what is your kind of employee to numbers stack of how you're able to kind of keep everything going with the two of you?
Yeah. So it's really just three of us. And so Josh is a full-time physical therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And when did I quit my job? I've been full-time in the business pretty much since the beginning of 2022. So about 3 years now, which is kind of crazy. But prior to that, I mean, we were both just hustling outside, whether it was we were full-time students and working on the business or working full-time jobs and working the business. But the last couple years, like I said, so Josh, full-time physical therapist, obviously he still helps out a ton. But from a time perspective, I'm the one working full-time in the business. And then we have 2 full-time VAs. So it's really it's 3 people that are getting the heavy lifting done.
Okay. And like working with a partner, what is like, do you two each kind of have your strength? Is one guy like a numbers guy? One guy is kind of like the guy to reach out, talk to brands, is one of you like, I don't want to talk to people. Just like, I'll tell you what's profitable and what isn't, and trends and stuff like that. Have you guys obviously just kind of probably naturally figured that out, knowing each other so long?
Yeah, I think so. And I think what's kind of funny is it kind of goes back to our history. And I was a big, eBay, not a big eBay guy, but I did a lot of eBay back in the day before I even knew that Amazon retail arbitrage even existed. So I was really good at really starting the business and being like, let's tackle retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I know exactly what I'm doing. All I need to do is just look at products and I pretty much know what's going to work. And so, again, as we worked 2 years through that, and then it started going into like the wholesale aspect of things. Kaja really started to take over like the business a little bit more and being like, okay, I know people who know wholesale. I'm really going to learn from them. I'm going to take this wholesale side. And as we kind of decrease the amount of retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, your position is just going to basically change. So a lot of the brunt force is what Kaj is working through right now because our business has pivoted over the years. And so now it's almost coming back and like reintegrating myself back into the business to find where I can be the most efficient and help this, as you could call it, I guess, bus that our business is, trying to move that forward as best as I possibly can.
Awesome. Now, would you guys consider are you like 100% brand direct? Do you deal with distributors at all, or are you guys pretty much just you're all brand direct? You want that exclusive, or at least a semi-exclusive when you're working with a brand?
We just have one distributor that we still work with. Everything else is brand direct. So mostly brand direct.
Okay. Okay. That seems to really be the method that a lot of people are having a lot of success with. But like in Amazon, there's people having success in like all aspects of it.
Yes.
And do you guys have you fallen into a niche at all of a certain category? I know I see you guys just that sparked my interest seeing you guys because we only know each other from social media. You guys have really been crushing it on Subscribe and Save, which is I am launching that for the first time with one of my exclusives.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So we're in supplements. We have a couple brands that fall, or a few brands that fall into supplements. And then one brand in beauty, which is also a consumable. And then we recently got a couple brands in tools and home improvement. But I mean, supplements and beauty is my favorite. Just anything that's consumable is, I mean, if it can have Subscribe and Save, I'm going to be really happy.
Okay. So you guys are doing well in the one category that I have had absolutely zero luck in.
It is a really tough one to get into.
I also think it creates a network to be able to potentially infiltrate, these types of categories too. Like we have relationships with a gym owner. And so it allows the pitch to potentially be a little bit easier trying to get someone to trust you when, hey, like we have a gym, out here, like we know the owner. Sometimes we bring the owner on just to allow the pitch to be a little bit more comfortable. So the brand's a little bit more like, oh, this isn't just, we're going to just sell your product on Amazon and we're not going to make any of the money or, stuff like that. So it kind of helps to have an in a little bit in a specific niche. And I think we've done a good job doing that, which has led to different connections as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you must be able to use that for some network. And when you say in with the gym owner, is that a way that you're talking to the brand of, hey, I'm not only going to put your product on Amazon, but like actually stock a gym, something like that is like a secondary form of like distribution?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That seems really interesting because that's exactly what I have happening with me right now with a grocery brand that I'm working with. Is we're well before I would be able to do it, but she is already hitting me with, hey, what about acquiring my brand in a year?
Wow.
Yep.
But you're definitely not ready. I said I couldn't even talk to you about that yet. I didn't want to tell her, like, I don't really know what I'm doing with Amazon yet, so why don't we wait on me acquiring your brand? But I can see the being able to, obviously, Amazon is our bread and butter. Amazon is never going anywhere. You have to just constantly change and evolve with Amazon. The tiny bit of time that I have been on Amazon, it's changed. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
Oh
is
yeah.
just constantly evolving. It's never going to go away. I've found that you just got to stay up and evolve with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and being able to offer more avenues of selling other platforms, something I haven't looked into yet because I need to kind of walk before I can run. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of new sellers, I think one of the biggest challenges as a new seller, and this podcast is a lot of kind of going on my journey as being a new seller to now being in wholesale, is I found one of the hardest parts with Amazon, or really any business starting out, is to know when to have tunnel vision and just sit down and grind, but not to do that so much where you're not keeping your eyes open to other opportunities. And I guess the hard part of balance is, hey, when do I expand, or when do I just say, hey, all I do is Amazon, don't start making promises you can't keep. But obviously, I see the value of being able to say, hey, I can distribute your product to gyms, I can distribute your product on Shopify or another avenue, when you're ready for that. So I think that's a big challenge for people getting into wholesale specifically, because it's definitely, I wouldn't say a problem of mine right now, but it's something I'm ultra aware of that I need to start attacking earlier rather than later, but not too early.
Kaj, you want to talk about your TikTok journey?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
And that's
have a
the
think
TikTok
about.
is like my number, is what's on my radar, I should say.
Yeah, it's like, because being, for me, the most important value add of being multi-platform, selfishly, is de-risking,
Mhm.
because no matter what platform you're selling on, you have platform risk. And so if you have multiple sales channels, that decreases your platform risk, or at least actual revenue on multiple platforms. Um, so that, I think, is the most important reason to pursue that. Um, but there is the cost of split focus, which is kind of what Josh was getting at. So with one of the brands that we used to work with, we're no longer actively working with them. Um, we try to launch them on TikTok to get some more traction. Um, didn't work, not because TikTok doesn't work, but really because I just didn't understand TikTok.
Mhm.
And we didn't have the right budget, the right strategy, the right back end. But I did learn a lot. So I wish if I hadn't spent that much time on it? Yes. But do I, kind of similar to private label, do I think that experience is going to come back around at some point and benefit us a lot? Also, yes. But TikTok is difficult, and you need to know how you're going to use it if you're going to attack that. Um, so for most Amazon sellers, I probably would not recommend trying TikTok. I would recommend Walmart. I would recommend eBay, because the strategy of selling on those platforms is going to be very similar to what you're doing on Amazon versus doing TikTok. Really, is just it's so
It
different.
is.
The only thing that's the same is that you're selling someone a physical product. Everything else about it is
It's
different.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it
it's a
seems
different
to me
thing.
that TikTok, there's certain things that work on TikTok, like products, and then there's certain
Correct.
things don't even bother to,
Also that.
so
Also that.
you kind of have to know,
What works? Mm-hmm.
what's working on TikTok.
Yes,
Because
100%.
it is one of my products is definitely TikTok friendly, and it's just, and the brand owner has kind of approached me about it, and it's just not something I've just kind of taken it as like, hey, why don't we get selling well on one platform and then start to, explore others,
Exactly. Yep.
because it is. So yeah, so kind of shifting subjects here. You guys don't only sell on Amazon, but you guys are also have jumped into the coaching game.
Yep.
When did you guys start the coaching game? The coaching, and kind of talk to me a little bit about, because I've used well, you and I come from the
Miles
Miles,
tree, baby.
the Miles coaching. Well, I don't coach, but the Miles coaching tree.
Yeah.
And so and I know as far as me with coaching, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the coaching in the beginning. I think the coaching is so incredibly important for the beginning of starting something. And I feel like the cost of the coaching, you will save that in
Trial and
buying
error.
stuff that you're going to lose money on.
Yep.
And then once you kind of get the hang of it, you create yourself a network within the coaching community. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about your Ecom Unlimited.
Josh, what year were we in Miles's program?
Oh man, that had to be.
Was that 2022?
Really? Was that late? I thought it was 2021.
It was one of those two. I can't remember. But yeah, we were part of his first cohort.
Yeah. I was going to say that's pretty early.
Yeah. So that everything that you just said about coaching, we have the same experience in paying for it and getting our value out of it.
Yeah.
And then I think we started coaching other people. That would have had to be the end of 2023. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we did like 1 or 2 cohorts, just me and Josh. Maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 people total, maybe 8. Nothing crazy in terms of numbers. And then 2024 is when Corey launched the wholesale network, and then from the beginning of that, me and Corey kind of coached inside of the wholesale network together.
So you were the first student of Corey's too, right, Kaj?
Also that, yes. I was Corey's first wholesale student before the wholesale network, before the wholesale challenge. So also got coaching there as well. So yeah, all along the journey. And even when we first started, we paid for a course for private label. So I mean, we've always believed and gotten value out of paying for courses and coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our best business decisions that we've ever made, besides starting our LLC and just starting, is probably going through Miles' program.
Yeah, 100%.
Every dollar that we spent on that course was worth it because it just reshaped our entire business, and it allowed us to work through that model for 2 years. I mean, though it's like we don't do it as quite anymore. If we wanted to, we could go right back to it if we really wanted to. And it was just like the value we saw there. We were like, well, if people want to start transitioning from online arbitrage to wholesale, I mean, there's a little bit of there's a gap there. There's not a lot of people, teaching people, and especially being one of Miles' community, a lot of people were looking to get into wholesale, and that's kind of when we were like, all right, we might as well start this to see what kind of interest is out there and all that kind of stuff. And then once we kind of had our little small cohort, and Kaj was like, man, dude, there's this really good opportunity with Corey to kind of work through the wholesale network. I think we should jump at it because he's just such a great guy. He's running his business so clean. We might as well just kind of partner. And so we kind of wrestled with that for a little bit. I remember just being in Miami, just us, talking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like what it would be like and how different it would be. Because we really liked our small community we had. I mean, we built this community over probably 6 to 8 months. And it was always exciting when someone new joined and when they were killing it. And all that sort of stuff, and I didn't want to lose that, but I didn't see the vision because Kaja saw the vision, he understood it, and Kaja really pushed for it. So I think that was the second best decision, probably, or I guess I should say third best decision in our business was Kaja partnering up with Corey there to run the wholesale network. So
it's so beneficial, especially with wholesale, and I mean all of it is a program like Miles really. When I joined Miles' program, I'm like, what is this? Like, I didn't need this money. And then Miles, he's like, well, you get one call. I'm like, wait, so this is all just like online? And then I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I guess so. This sounds okay. So we get one call with each other? He's like, yeah. And, Miles, and it didn't click for 30 days, because with Miles, you're newbie. So, he
Right.
just like hammer, like same things over. And then I'm like, okay. And then after 30 days, I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I
Yep. I
see.
remember exactly when I had that moment too, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
And
like
then
all of a
we
sudden he
went from
like starts a
10K a
group
month to
message
50K
with
a
like
month.
three other guys with me. He's like, you guys talk, tell me this, I'm sending him keeper charts. I'm like, how many guys is this dude talking to?
A lot.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I'm
He's a
like,
man of
oh, I
words.
don't really need all his help anymore. And then I saw like new people in the group, and I was like, and then it like clicked. I'm like, I see how it works, like, and then for the wholesale, I was actually Miles because he started the inner circle within his school for wholesale. So I was Miles' very first wholesale
Oh, really?
Okay.
person because I was just like, he's like, hey, do you want to? I was actually about to go to Corey. I
Oh,
talked
okay.
with Corey, and I was like, it's time for me to do this. I was like, hey, it's like school. I was like, it costs some money to do the online thing. It's going to cost some money to do the wholesale thing. It's in my eyes, having brick and mortar stores and other businesses. I'm like, this is the cost of doing business. Like, this is
Yep.
what's training me. This is worth several $1,000s, as long as I use it,
Right.
and I trust these guys. So I knew that Miles was friends with Corey and he trusted him. So I reached out to Corey. I had a conversation with Corey, and then like I think that was right at Miami conference that I didn't make it to. And
Okay.
something happened with Miles at Miami conference where I think he came up with this whole idea to do the inner circle part. And I was really close to signing up with Corey. And chances are, I'm sure Miles was probably talking to Corey about it. And
Probably.
the
Yeah.
day Miles got back, he sent me a message. He's like, hey, would you want to do like a wholesale group? I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And we started like the wholesale group within that.
Gotcha.
And, I was like, yeah, I was going to go with Corey. I was like, but he's like, Corey's good. And everything's like, no, I've been working with you. I'll continue to work with, who I've been working with.
Right.
So I was the first one in Miles' kind of inner circle group, which has been just as valuable as the OA. So I kind of do
I'm sure.
both back and forth, and that's where I met Brad
Yeah.
and the other
Right.
guys doing it of
Right.
Operation Amazon, and it's like a
Yeah.
whole kind of coaching network, which I think is part of what's so wild about Amazon is you have this huge mega platform, yet the network and the community feels small.
Feels small.
Until you go to Amazon Accelerate.
Yeah, which I will be
And
going
then you
to.
realize it's huge. Because
Yeah,
I just have to put that out there because I think any Amazon seller should try to, and this is now I'm going on a different note. I don't know if you want to go this direction.
no, you go ahead.
As an interjection, I think every Amazon seller should try to get to Amazon Accelerate at least once
Yeah,
because it is like a mind shifting experience. And like our corner of the Amazon world, like the
which is
Amazon
more like
Twitter,
Sellers United.
Yeah.
When I went to Sellers United, I'm
Miami
like, oh,
Sellers
this is like,
Conference.
yeah, I was like, this is like my Instagram in one room.
Exactly.
You know?
It really is, and I don't know, like maybe it's just how the algorithm works and it stops feeding you new people, but it's like it is a sliver of a corner of the Amazon community, and also most Amazon sellers are not active on social media.
No,
That's
they're
also
not.
a big part of it too. But like I mean, Amazon Accelerate, there was maybe like 5,000, 6,000 sellers there, as a lot of them international too. And one, you learn a ton. The vibes are incredible, but
Yeah.
it really just like every time I go to a conference, like my mind does, like it's like the mind exploding emoji. Highly recommend because it is like just getting to a conference and like being next to someone who's doing like 10 million a month. You're just like, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. You found, I mean, even Sellers United, when I went there, a couple of the guys doing just like the massive numbers, and it was just like, oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a long way to go. And even, in my mind, and I think the same as you guys, I don't have an interest in that. I think Amazon is for so many different people, and it's not all about scaling to some ridiculous number where you want your goal to be. um, scaling to 20 million a year or some crazy number like that. That's not my goal. I don't like the idea of that. The idea of having like 10 different VAs and having to own my own warehouse and all of that, like that doesn't really interest me all that much. I kind of like, around the level where you guys are at. To me, that seems like a nice sweet spot. I like the idea of having two full-time VAs, maybe a little like graphic designer, PPC, something, but for the most part, two VAs and be brand direct and rip it yourself. And, that's why I'm always curious when I ask, yeah, hey, like, how many employees do you have? What are your numbers that you're doing? Because I kind of like to, like, I want to have two full-time VAs and I want to scale to the point where I don't really need more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them busy, and work off of that where things don't get too out of control. But everybody has different goals in this business,
Yeah,
of
sure.
where they want to be.
Yeah.
Kaj, why don't you like break down maybe our numbers a little bit, just so the audience has an idea?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me think. 2022, which was our first year of really going all out OA, or I guess our first good year OA, we did right about $500,000, strictly OA, and most of that revenue came in like the second half of the year. 2023 was our first $1 million year, and that was about a 50-50 OA wholesale distribution split. 2024 was actually a down year, for multiple reasons. We've talked about some of them on our podcast, but end of 2023, we kind of got screwed over by a supplier. We had to take a loss on one PO, which all kind of like just set our cash flow back like 3 to 4 months. So 2024 was really a rebuilding year, and also part of the reason we focused on brand direct to have more stability. And I want to say we ended 2024 around like 850K total revenue. And then this year, 2025, we're on pace to do about like 1.2. And I mean, it's the end of the year, but like I said, we have a product that's kind of pumping right now, so we'll see. But we've already cleared $1 million for the year, and then should probably end around 1.2. And then next year, I think we'll hit 2+, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are big things for 2026. 2026 is, I keep on saying this is going to be my year of 2026.
Oh yeah,
of doing. Yeah, it's exciting to see and kind of prepare yourself for it. And again, to go back on the online coaching is, I think, so much of what I have learned is preparing yourself for that.
100%.
Like, and I kind of said to myself, I said, and everybody that is doing this is coming at it completely differently. Some guys start, they have absolutely no money. They're doing it with books. They're flipping cards. They're restricted. They got to like slowly grow. Some guys might come in with a partner and have all the money in the world, and they just, and then I look at myself as like somebody kind of like in the middle of that, where, I have real estate. I have, my big thing is commercial real estate. That's what I own. I don't own enough to retire. I don't own enough. I own technically enough to live on for a year, to get me by from selling my business. And then I, my real estate funded putting investments in for this. So I have enough where I knew like, hey, let me find that kick-ass VA 3 months earlier than I needed to. Instead of chewing through 3 different VAs until I found a good one, I spent a little bit of money and used a hiring agency. It worked out. I found an all-star VA. I was just talking to you before this. I was setting up my QuickBooks and ConnectBooks.
Yeah.
ConnectBooks was, I've been doing apps that were $20 a month, like Sellerboard or something. ConnectBooks was $300 to $400 a month, but it is allowing me to set everything up in the month of December, where I now have real numbers, a real system to go with going into 2026. Is it absolutely needed with the numbers I'm doing right now? No, but it will be. Was a full-time VA paying good money absolute needed when I hired her? No, but she has opened up my business, allowed me to just do sales, and now I do need her. So I think, and I wouldn't have known any of that if it wasn't for online coaching, of them kind of saying,
Mhm.
hey, like, this is what is coming. This is what is coming. You can do this. You don't have to do it, but you can do it now because everyone you're coaching, they're all coming from a different financial background. So I think that is maybe one of my biggest takeaways from doing the online coaching is the planning and trying as much as you can to do it right the first time. And you're still going to make a ton of mistakes, but to try to start putting systems in play a little bit before you need them, and having the online coaching, you know what the systems are. You know what you're going to need. I'm talking to guys like you, to guys like Miles or Brad that have, they're doing huge numbers, and this is what you need in order to do those numbers. So I think that's another thing with the online coaching that is just so valuable um, going forward with this type of business.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree. Having systems in place. Oh my gosh. I mean, maybe our fourth best decision ever was hiring an admin VA so Kosh could actually do a
Oh,
job that's profitable for the business. Because let
Shout
me
out to
tell you,
Rob.
good luck with all the back end stuff that like you have to worry
I
about
don't
the
touch it.
sales, the coupons. Like you have that to worry about. You don't have to worry about the IP complaints or your inventory is lost and you can't find it and you're not going to get reimbursed, which is going to throw your cash flow off. It's like stuff like that in the back end is just so vital. And having an all-star VA like the one that you have and like the one that we have just makes life easier. It's like you don't want to be burnt out by your business at the end of the day. Like you
Hmm.
you want to enjoy running it to the best of your ability, and
Yes.
have fun teaching a VA how to do stuff when you're burnt out. Because let me tell you, it's probably not going to go so well. So
Yeah,
yeah, having those systems in place is just so key and vital for your business to succeed moving forward.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's one thing, thankfully, that I've learned that I enjoy and I'm halfway decent at is the system side of thing. So going back to what Josh was saying about like his eBay days, right? So when we started retail arbitrage, oh wait, even private label, honestly, Josh was always just better at Amazon. Like he could find products, he had the sixth sense, he could go into a store, he could do sourcing. I honestly, until it was like wholesale outreach, I sucked at sourcing.
yep,
Like if I
I
didn't
did
have
too.
Josh, I would not like I don't think I would have ever sold a profitable product.
Yeah,
No, what's funny, we have to tell the story. So like
My first RA find.
yeah, your first RA find. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hilarious. So we're walking to Marshalls, and I like left everything on the shelf that I would like go and pick up. So I was like, just in case Kaja like found it and scanned it, like he would
So
have the ability to feel the rush that it feels like
right.
to find a
profit.
good
And for
product.
context, this is Josh taking me to Marshalls for like me going into do RA for the first time. So
Yeah,
Josh has already been doing it and he's teaching me.
yeah. So I'm trying to teach him, and so we start finding a couple things. I kind of start telling him what to look for. And so we start, hitting the clothing rack a little bit. And he finds this pair of Adidas pants. And he's like, oh, dude, look at this. Check this out. This is phenomenal. And I was like, all right, let me take a peek. And I was like, all right, keep it looks eh. And I was like, all right, what do we got here? It's like 4XL Adidas pants. And I was like, man, wow, what are the odds someone who's 4XL is going to want to buy this off Amazon? I was like, you know what? Put it in the cart. We'll see how it goes. I wouldn't count your chickens before they hatch, but it's got good ROI. We might as well do it. And
Profit
man,
was
it
good.
it didn't sell for like 4 months. Probably it
I don't
probably
think it
took
ever
us.
sold.
I think it took us like 5 months to finally sell it. It did sell eventually. It was
Oh, it
just
did.
like
Okay.
5 months. Yeah, it was just funny
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
But yeah, I was always good at the system side of things. So then like once we started scaling OA, like, building out the spreadsheets, setting it up in such a way that like I can look at it and know what's happening, Josh can look at it and know what's happening, our
yeah,
VA can look at it and know what's happening, the warehouse, like just stuff like that, making it consistent, figuring out our prep operation and all of that. And then now on the brand direct side of things, similar concepts. Because now, and this is the beauty of not even just scaling, just once you have like a competent team member, like there's certain SOPs where, I mean, I don't even do them. Like our admin / operation manager has ownership of them. He handles it A to Z. He updates me in our weekly meetings. And if I needed to do it, he would need to teach me. I mean, I
oh,
can obviously go and figure it out and read the SOP. But there are certain things now where it's like, for the most part, I'm not involved. And that's where you want to get to, because then that's what frees you up to do, some coaching, to do a partnership with Amazon ads, to go to conferences, once a month.
Drive revenue.
And exactly, to actually meet with brands in person, to hop on calls with brands, which is honestly the most important thing I do in the business, is meeting with brands, talking to brands, strategizing and planning with brands. There was one other thing you said that I wanted to touch on and it's just the idea of like being prepared for the opportunity when it comes. And I forget the exact quote, but they're essentially like saying luck is essentially when preparation meets opportunity or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can increase your surface area of luck by just being more prepared and putting yourself out there more. And I feel like 2024 and 2025, me and Josh really started to experience that. A lot of the early years of the business was the preparation. And then once we started posting on socials and we also were prepared, like all of these opportunities came up that we were also able to take advantage of. And I feel like that flywheel has just continued. Like there's still more opportunities that have come up. Not even just like, if people listen to Corey's episode, like he handed one of his brands off to us and we're kind of managing that now. So like that opportunity, we've had 2 or 3 brands that have been inbound, mainly just from the social perspective. We've worked with Amazon ads to make some content, which has been really cool, and other opportunities behind the scenes as well. So there is something to be said. And again, this is just what we're actively experiencing about that preparation, increasing your surface area of luck, staying in the game for a long period of time. And then,
yes, that's important.
things just start to kind of fall into place, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's. I said to Miles, I was like, because I have this one brand, this one ASIN, and I'm pushing close to 50K a month with it.
So
very high sale price, and I just fell onto it. I was like, Miles, I just got lucky. It was like, call the brand, agreed to sell to me, first call, didn't think it was going to work, and 3 months later, it is like, and I was like, Miles, I just got lucky, and and I'm launching 3 exclusives this year. I was like, I contact these brands. I got lucky. I got them at the right time. He was like, you created luck. I was like, you created luck. You made 600 phone calls.
Yeah, that's not luck.
He's like, that's not luck. You got people at the right time because you were making so many phone calls.
Yes.
And it really is like, but that's having a great Amazon, because I say, like, the brand owner or us, we should be doing what is driving revenue. And that is talking to brands, going out and meeting brands, going to trade shows, going to conventions, and your VA should be supporting you with that. And that's the goal. And that's what I've had a lot of, I guess, luck with, is doing that. So it's good to see, like, as I talk to you guys like you and other people, I'm like, okay, I think I'm going in the right direction. So hopefully, we're all kind of going in the right direction. But to end, I'm going to completely change the subject off of Amazon. Okay. And Kaj, from watching your social media, I'm gonna have you tell me who to watch for in the FIFA World Cup.
Who to root for?
Yeah, I am your typical American. I mean, it shocked from looking at me. I played football and was a high school football coach for almost 20 years.
Okay.
So I have never been in my life been on a soccer field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So who to watch, or if we're going to a game?
Yeah, or going to a game, or who should I be watching? Obviously, I want United States. I live here. But who are the big dogs in FIFA that are going to kind of should be the front runners?
So
that's a hard one.
That is a hard one. So you got your big European teams and your big South American teams. So the big European ones, it's always going to be like England, Italy, Germany, France, sometimes the Netherlands, maybe Belgium. And then the big South American teams, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. those guys are always going to be somewhat favored just because of their history. Now, I think the big storylines of this World Cup in terms of who you should be watching is this is probably Messi's last World Cup. So Lionel Messi, one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to ever play the game. Cristiano Ronaldo also will probably be his last World Cup. One of the greatest, if not the greatest player to play the game. I'll let other people argue.
You got LeBron and Michael.
Yeah, exactly. And then also probably Neymar's last World Cup. Yeah. So Neymar, he's Brazilian.
Yep.
One of my favorite players of all time to watch. Unbelievable amount of skill. And yeah, so that would be who to watch. But what I would say, like, a country hosting a World Cup only happens ever so often. Yeah. So even if it's two teams that you don't care about and you just want to go for the vibes, just go to a game, because international soccer fandom is different from anything that happens in the U.S. So we're close to Philly. I was actually just texting with my grandfather about this the other day because the schedules for each city, the group stage just came out. So like Brazil's playing in Philly, France is playing in Philly, Ghana's.
So you're going to one of them.
Oh yeah.
I had a friend of mine who's into both soccer and football.
With Amex points.
Okay. I had a friend of mine who's into football and soccer, and he told me, he said the closest thing you can compare international soccer to in America is not pro, but going to like an Ohio State, Penn State type football game. Which I go to about 3 games a year. I travel the country to go to college football. Really? Okay. I love college football. So and I have some friends that coach at Penn State and around the Big Ten. So that's a big.
Are you close to Penn State?
No, Penn 10-hour drive.
Okay.
It is probably, because I'm Northeast, so I'm all pro. It's probably the closest big college to me.
Got it.
Okay. For that, or down to like Clemson. So that's right. All right. Well, I wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah, wait, Josh,
you're always dropping the soccer.
Yes, bro. That's my sport.
Yeah, my sport.
Wait, Josh, who do you think has it?
But I'm hearing rumors that if both Argentina and Portugal get out of the group stages, that they could actually meet. And are you kidding me?
Which hasn't happened yet. I don't think that's
which hasn't happened yet. That would be must see TV. And honestly, if it happens, I wouldn't even be surprised, just based on sports and how that game works. But man, it's going to be tough this year. I think a lot of teams are going to come in. I think we're going to have some. I think we're going to have some upsets this year. Yeah, I think we're going to have some major upsets this year. So,
but the United States isn't going to do much.
I hope that we get out of our group stage. I think we have a potential chance.
Okay.
We have a chance.
We have more than a chance. I'm not going to lie. And I could talk about this.
Oh, I'm sure we could do a whole podcast. I'm sure you could do a FIFA.
The U.S. men's national team has had a really terrible last 3 years.
Yeah.
We got a new coach, and the first half of his tenure was bad. But as of like the last 3 months, we've started cooking. And our group is actually fairly favorable. So I'm now at the point where I think it's actually more likely than not, just on a percentage basis, that we get out of our group, which would be amazing. So we'll see. We'll never know. It's it's professional sports. Anything can happen.
All right. Yes. All right. Well, I thought it ended that. I'm a sports freak, so I would like, and I do. I love the vibes of sports. So I'm going to try to get, because I'm only about an hour from Gillette.
Okay.
Nice. So I'm going to try to get to one. It doesn't really matter what, just to go, just to go.
You've got to.
Yeah. Grab a couple buddies. Get the beer on tap and just have a time.
Yeah.
Amazon meets soccer, baby.
I like it. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I think this is great. Because this podcast is going to kind of grow with me. I started the podcast with a couple of guys that we still do it with, talking about our first week of selling on Amazon, to now I'm moving into like wholesale. So I'm just kind of bringing this podcast along,
That's awesome.
For my journey. And it was great to have you guys on today. So until next time, I appreciate it. And we will be back next week for another podcast, guys. Thanks a lot.